I've gone through the players that I think will have a breakout season next season, or players that I think will be able to redeem themselves going into next season. But today we're going to be talking about the opposite. We're going to be talking about players that I will be selling my stocks in for this season coming up. Players that I think are going to have, very below par seasons or even dreadful seasons at that. Okay, so let's talk about the first one who I feel like a lot of you could potentially agree with, and that is Mo Salah. So Mo Salah, he is now a free agent, and I've seen like no clubs, really be interested in signing him, which I thought was a bit weird. I definitely saw him, going to like a top Serie A club, maybe, a top La Liga, or even like PSG or something like that. But no, the only teams that I've seen, show any bit of interest in him is Trabzonspor. Bro, just end your career there, man. Like, I know you went to Turkey like 2 seasons ago, but you don't owe them, that much to go to Turkey. When you can still definitely deliver at the top level, in my opinion, at least. Like, yeah, he didn't have the great season last year, but he still got like 15 goals or something close to that, which isn't up to his standards, but still, pretty respectable, for a winger. And obviously, at the World Cup, he also had a pretty decent campaign as well, with only narrowly losing out to Argentina in the round of 16 as well. So yeah, I mean, Mo Salah, I'm more just disappointed that, we're not going to see you ever play again at the top level, as things stand at least. So yeah, Mo Salah is the first player I'm going to be selling my stocks in. And second, is quite of a weird one, because it is a player that, stocks has, almost never been higher, and that is Rodri, the current player of the tournament from the last World Cup. So yeah, Rodri did have a pretty good World Cup, I'm not gonna lie, but did he deserve player of the tournament? No, I don't think so. Like, for the first couple of games of the World Cup, Rodri didn't really do anything. Spain really didn't do anything. But I think, when, Spain started to get on a good run of form, that people are like, well, who's playing decent? And then Rodri's pretty decent. And then they, and from there, people just really hyped up Rodri to the point where he won player of the tournament. But yeah, as I said, I don't think he had a bad tournament, but I just don't think he was, that good, in the last season. Like, he hasn't really been fully fit for like 2 years now, and I don't know, I can't really picture what's going to happen next season with Maresca in charge. Like, the style of football they're going to be playing is going to be vastly different. I think that it's also going to be slightly worse as well, which in turn will make Rodri just look a lot worse as well. Obviously, I do hope that I'm so wrong on this. I hope Rodri has a good season, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think we're going to see like another Ballon d'Or level campaign coming from him anytime soon. And staying in Man City, we're going to be talking about Ryan Cherki. So obviously Cherki, he was really made a name for himself in the last season under Guardiola. Guardiola let him do his thing, let him do his little tricks and flicks, and that worked out for him. I wasn't really big on Cherki, when he first joined, but as, time went on, I thought, no, this guy's definitely, he's a player. But then at the World Cup, he barely touched the pitch, which, makes lots of sense when you have Dembele, Mbappe, and Elise to, fight for game time with. But I mean, he just really didn't look great either. Like, the game time he did get looked pretty bad, and he also, had like kind of like behavioral problems as well with Deschamps. Anyway, as I said before, Cherki now has a new manager, Enzo Maresca. I mean, I can definitely still see him doing really well, but as I said in my players I'm investing in, I reckon Foden's gonna have a good season, and if Foden has a good season, well, maybe Cherki's just not gonna be playing as much. So yeah, I'm gonna say Cherki is gonna have a bit of a down season. Maybe even get sold. Maybe he gets sold at the end of the season. I don't know. We'll see. And the fourth player we're gonna be selling is one of my favorite players as of right now, and that is Kenan Yildiz. He's wearing the iconic number 10 for Juventus. And and if you take, your minds back to like September last year, he, was like the talk of the town. Like everyone was talking about him. Like he pretty much put Juventus like back on the map all by himself. He was, putting in, big performances in big games like the Inter game, like the Dortmund game. He was, just really, really class. Yeah, as like the season progressed, like at the start of the year pretty much, he just barely did anything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch every Juventus game. Like, a lot of games are at like 2 or 3 a.m. So I try and catch, most of the games that I can. I probably watched like 80% of Juventus games last season. And you know what? In like 50 to 60% of them, he really just didn't show up. Like, as I said, end of last season, really didn't play too great. And my main reason for this is because of that knee injury. Ever since, there were talks of him having like a bit of an injury, Juventus, Kenan Yıldız's form just, went down like an absolute huge cliff. He still, did a few, cool things here and there. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. As I said in my last video, I reckon Begovic is going to be, Alba Begovic, which I say, is going to have an insane season. He's going to take his left wing position. But, Kenan Yıldız is probably going to play a bit more centrally, I imagine, this season. Which, I think is going to be good, especially for him with his injury. But now, we have, probably my biggest hot take that I'm ever going to have. The player that I'm going to be selling every single one of my stocks in coming into this season is Lamine Yamal. So I know that you might just be thinking I'm saying this because he had a pretty below average World Cup performance. And that does come into it a little bit, but my main concern is that is his injury, just like with Yıldız. Like, that was the main reason why I didn't think Spain were going to be good at the World Cup, because Yamal was not going to be good. And, I was proved to be pretty much right, wasn't I? Yamal only got 1 goal, which came against Saudi Arabia in the groups. But, I mean, obviously goals isn't everything. But, I mean, Yamal has, played a lot of games already. Like, I'm pretty sure he's played, like, triple, even quadruple the amount of games that Messi had played at his age. And, he's come back off of, like, playing, like, 100 games in the last 2 seasons. So, I think it's definitely going to get to him this season. It's going to take him, I'm going to say, a few months to get into the swing of things. But I do feel like that around by, like, that March time when, Barca really need him, I feel like, he'll be back and, be in the conversations for the Ballon d'Or again, I'll be sure. So there we have it. Those are the players that I don't think are going to be, that great next season. For all of these players' sakes, I do hope that, they go on to have great seasons, especially Yıldız and Yamal. I'd obviously like to see Salah, get a move to a decent sized club as well, because I'm not ready to, watch him go. But yeah, that is just about it. I don't know what video I'm going to be making next, but I don't know, hopefully we'll see you in that one anyway.